The city skyline glimmered with wealth, but to Claire Donovan, every skyscraper was a reminder of betrayal. She had given her youth, her loyalty, and her trust to the people who built those glass towers, and in return, they had taken everything from her. 3 years earlier, Claire had been the rising star of Donovan and Pierce, a powerful law firm that promised her the world. She was clever, bold, and relentless in the courtroom. Her boss, Richard Pierce, had called her the future of the firm. But when she uncovered evidence of Pierce's offshore fraud, she didn't stay silent. She did what she thought was right. She reported it. Within weeks, she was branded a liar. The board dismissed her accusations as delusions of jealousy. Pierce turned her colleagues against her, spreading whispers that she was unstable. The media followed the story, portraying her as a failed lawyer, seeking attention. Clients dropped her. Friends disappeared. Claire Donovan's career and life was destroyed. For 3 years, she lived in the shadows, working odd jobs to survive. But she never forgot. Each sleepless night sharpened her hatred. Each humiliation fueled her determination. And now, the time had come. Richard Pierce was preparing to announce the launch of his new billion-dollar investment fund. Politicians, celebrities, and corporate titans had all been invited to the grand gala. It was the perfect stage for glory or ruin. Claire planned for the latter. Her revenge was not born out of rage alone, it was meticulously crafted. She had spent months gathering evidence, hidden bank accounts, wire transfers, confidential documents. She hacked, bribed, and stalked every piece of the puzzle until she had enough to shatter him completely. But revenge wasn't just about truth, it was about timing, and Claire knew how to strike. The night of the gala, the ballroom glittered with chandeliers and champagne flutes. Richard Pierce, silver-haired and charming, basked in the admiration of his guests. Cameras flashed as he stepped on stage, preparing to unveil his vision for the future. That was when the screens flickered. At first, the audience thought it was a technical glitch. But then a familiar face appeared. Claire Donovan. Her recorded voice filled the ballroom, calm yet sharp like a blade. "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You've come here to celebrate. Richard Pierce, the man you believe is a visionary. But what you don't know is that he has stolen from you, from your businesses, from your charities, from this country." The room froze. Claire's face looked different than before, stronger, harder, unafraid. One by one, documents flashed across the giant screen. Wire transfers to shell companies. Fake charities funneling millions offshore. Signed contracts with illegal clauses. Every secret Pierce had buried came alive in front of his investors, his political allies, and the cameras broadcasting live. Gasps rippled through the audience. Murmurs turned to outrage. Pierce's face went pale. He rushed toward the stage, shouting orders to cut the feed. But Claire had anticipated that. The broadcast was mirrored online, streaming to thousands, already trending worldwide. And then came the final blow. A video clip, Pierce himself, in his office, drunkenly bragging to a partner about how he destroyed Claire's career. His words echoed through the ballroom. "She thought she could take me down. I buried her, and I'd do it again." The silence that followed was heavier than any thunder. By the time security tried to shut down the chaos, investors were walking out, journalists were dialing their editors, and federal agents were already on their way. Claire watched it all unfold from a distance, sitting in her car across the street. The city skyline reflected in her windshield as she smiled for the first time in years. Revenge wasn't just about ruining Pierce. It was about reclaiming herself. For so long, she had been branded as a liar, a failure. But tonight, the truth spoke louder than any slander. Pierce's empire crumbled in a single evening. And Claire Donovan, she became the name everyone remembered, not as a victim, but as the woman who burned a giant to the ground. As dawn broke, Claire drove out of the city, the radio buzzing with news reports of Pierce's scandal. She rolled down the window, letting the cold wind brush against her face. She wasn't done yet. There were others, those who had laughed when she fell, those who had played their part in destroying her. They thought they were safe. But Claire had learned something powerful in the dark years. Revenge was best when served slowly, piece by piece, until the guilty drowned in their own fear. The world had underestimated her once. Claire whispered to herself. This is only the beginning.